Welcome to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen, with your host, Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What is up? Welcome back to the number one landscape lighting show in the world. It's Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Man, I'm excited to be back. Happy New Year. I decided to take a couple weeks off to rest, to rejuvenate, but I am back. I'm ready to go. It's going to be an awesome 2022. I stopped watching the news a long time ago, and ever since it's been awesome. So, highly recommend it. I'm here to help educate and motivate to help you dominate. So I hope you're excited for another episode of Lighting for Profits. My name is Ryan Lee, and we are going to make it an awesome episode today. I'm flying solo. So we'll go ahead and get started. I want to thank you guys for joining me live. I want to thank you if you're here on the podcast, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is. Thank you so much for being here. We are here on Turf Stop Radio, your industry, your station. A happy New Year to you. And this is to a new year, a new you in 2022. So welcome to Lighting for Profits. And, I was saying like I'm all rejuvenated and ready to go. But honestly, yesterday was tough. Did anyone have a hard time waking up and getting back in the grind Monday morning? I was tired. I'm glad the show wasn't yesterday. Let's just say that, because I was tired all day. And I guess I just got used to staying up late, sleeping in, home with the kids. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I decided to try to be as stress-free as possible. I didn't come into the office. I did some work, but just, emails, text, stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. So hopefully you guys were able to take some time off and enjoy some time to yourself. And by the way, since I am flying solo today, I do have some topics. I do have an agenda, but if you have questions, then let's hear them. Let's have a dialogue. Let me know what questions you have. We're going to talk about freedom. We're going to talk about whatever questions you guys have. So whatever questions you have, I got answers. Maybe I might not even have an answer, but if you have a question, might as well throw it out there. And we're going to be talking about some things that I believe that you should work on this year, right? And so we're going to do that. But before I get started, before I call it the break because I took a couple weeks off, Christmas break, New Year's, all that. I did mention Landscape Lighting Live. A lot of people were still reaching out to me. Do you have spots? And good news, bad news. The good news for me, I guess, is it sold out super quick. So it is unfortunately sold out, the event in the end of January, but is that the bad news or the good news? That was the good news for me, I guess, but bad news for you is it did sell out. And so I do have a waiting list for another event. If you just go to landscapelightinglive.com and scroll to the bottom where you normally put in your credit card info, I've got that blocked out, and you just click on the link and put your name on the wait list for a future event. So I don't actually have another Landscape Lighting Live scheduled right now. Still in the works of planning, but I have partnered up with a couple fellas, Jason Guyman and Donovan Questenberry, the Christmas light guys. And we're going to do a combined training. So if you have interest in learning landscape lighting and you already have a Christmas light business, this would be perfect for you because it's basically a combination. It's a 3-day training, a combination of advanced Christmas light training with intro to landscape lighting so that we can help you scale your Christmas light business. And one of the methods is adding on landscape lighting. So we'll talk about the basics and intro to landscape lighting and talk about how to scale your business and pricing and sales and marketing and all that fun stuff. So the dates for that are March 11th through the 13th. I do have a link, but I don't know what it is for that event for the waiting list. The website is not launched yet. It'll be later this week or next. But if you want to get on the waiting list for that, just go ahead and go to landscapelightinglive.com, get your name on that waiting list, and I'll be sure to reach out to you. Basically, what we're doing, anyone who's on any one of the waiting lists, we're going to give you advance notice, 24 hours notice before we release it to the public. And the reason for that is because there's only limited spots. Even for this one, there's only 20 spots, and they're going to, it's going to sell out. It's going to fill up super fast. So we'll give you guys at least 24 hours heads up before we release it to the public. So if you're interested in a future event, at least get your name on the list. And if you decide not to go, it's not like you put in your credit card or anything. It's just getting your name on a waiting list. So that's what I would do. And thank you guys for your support. I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing. Thank you so much. So looks like Ray said took yesterday off. 5 a.m. came too early today. I missed my 9 a.m. lazy 2 weeks. I totally hear you, man. I'm not gonna lie, 9 a.m. was a little early for me on some of those nights. We never, like my kids, maybe last year was like the first year I let them stay up till midnight, but maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember. But this New Year's, we stayed up till 3 a.m. I had a blast. I was doing a puzzle. My kids were playing video games. We were having a blast. And finally at 3 a.m., I was like, guys, we got to go to bed. And my wife had gone to bed at like 2 or something like that. So it was a good time. I'm learning to take time to enjoy the moment. I've had a problem being addicted to work in the past. And honestly, it's not always that good of a thing. So it's good to take time to enjoy the moment and do all that. I know I preach profits and hustle and grind and do all this other stuff, but honestly, you do need to reward yourself. So, and actually, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this new year. Okay, it's a new year. It's a new you. So I want you to imagine something, and just imagine your life 12 months from now. What will your life look like 1 year from now? Okay, if you're watching live, it's next January or whatever. But if you're listening to this 6 months later, whatever it is, what is your life going to look like 1 year from now? And really take a moment or 2 or 10 or 20, like really think about this, about what is your life? What do you want it to look like? What should it look like? Most of us are not living up to our potential. We should be further along than we are, myself included. And I really think this is a good exercise for you. Really envision yourself a year from now, and it's going to go by quick. The older I get, the faster time goes. Doesn't make any sense scientifically, but it happens. I don't know why. So like really sit down and write it down. What's your life going to look like 1 year from now? Do you truly believe? Do you believe that it can happen? Do you truly believe it? And belief is something I want to talk about for a minute, because belief is it's just a very powerful tool that we have. And most of the time we don't use it. But here's the thing. It does require action. My wife and I talk about this from time to time, about how you have to believe. And she's like, yeah, but you got to take action. I'm like, it's true. But here's the thing. It's a balance. There's a lot of people out there, maybe you, that are taking action. You're actually taking a lot of action, sometimes too much action, and you're working too hard or in the wrong direction. Okay. And sometimes we forget about this whole belief thing, and we just start working because that's kind of all we know how to do. No one ever trained us. No one ever taught us to exercise our belief. Right. And a lot of people don't believe that they can do better or that they can do more than they currently are. And I personally believe that we have limited ourselves. We've let the world kind of brainwash us, and we listen to people, and they hold us back. And we think, well, if this guy's doing this and I do a little bit better, that's okay. But that's not necessarily living our potential, right? I've met a lot of people in the past 18 months that I've been doing this, and most people don't believe that they can even get to $1 million. It's like, how could I sell $1 million in lights in 12 months? So think about some of your limited beliefs. I hear some of these following questions. Can I sell lights? Can I sell landscape lighting for $400 a light in my area? A lot of people are like, no, that may work in Texas or California or we're at Utah, whatever, but not in my town, right? Well, that may be true if you're living in a town where like the most expensive house is $200,000. But if you have an area where you're dealing with $700,000 homes and up, I promise you could sell lights for $400 a light. Even if you think it's a cheap area and everyone else is DIY, whatever your limiting beliefs are, I promise you can sell lights for $400 a light in your area. Can I sell $1 million in 12 months? A lot of people don't think that's possible. And I'm going to talk to you today on what some steps are if you're struggling with that, like how you can do that. And maybe that's not even important to you, right? But whatever your goal is, Why is it that goal? Like some people are like, well, I'm going to try to get to 500,000. Why 500,000? Why limit yourself? Why not make it 6, 7, 8, 9 million bucks? Another one I hear, can I hire a salesperson? We get caught up so much in like, I've told this before how customers would tell me this lie and I believed them. They're like, oh man, we love the fact that you showed up to our house. You're the owner. We appreciate that. Uh, we went with you because you're the owner. We like you better. All this. And I believed that. I thought that meant I was special. I thought it was like, well, I can't ever hire another salesperson because they're not the owner. Would I have to give them some equity? Would they have to be an owner? Like I just like put it off for years because of that false belief. Another one I hear about hiring salespeople is like, how are you going to train them on design? It's so hard and each job is different, this and that. Well, I got news for you. Lighting design can be difficult, but it can also be really easy. It really has to do with your processes and how complicated you want to make them. Okay. Same thing with sales. A lot of people complicate the sales process and it takes a day or a two or a week or two. They go back and have to do all this stuff just to get a proposal in front of someone where I can give someone a price within 5 minutes and usually close the deal within 60 minutes, right? So I recommend if you are struggling with these things, try to simplify your processes, try to simplify your life, because a lot of times we just tend to overcomplicate things. And we are our biggest bottleneck. We just need to get out of our own way. Similar to the salesperson, can I hire an installer to replace me? One of the, I won't say his name, but a guy recently joined my program. He's been doing lighting for over 20 years. And the biggest thing holding him back was himself, right? Does well for himself. So it's not like he's like poor or anything. He does well. And so he's thought it's always the way to go. And it's like one of the things he told me is like, yeah, but how do I replace myself? Because, the people, I like to go and knock on the door and I like to tell the customer this and that and the other. And I said, you just told me how. You just told me exactly the steps that you need to do to replace yourself. Write it down. Give the script to your people, whatever it is that you want them to say, even if they have to hold the piece of paper up and read the script to the person that they're talking to the first couple of times to get used to it. That's okay. But at some point, everything you do can be replaced. It can be repeatable and it can be trained to somebody else. And I hate to break it to you. I know it's New Year's and we're supposed to be like happy about everything, but you're not as special as you think. So that's it took me a long time to learn that. I probably am still learning that. Okay, same thing. Can I hire someone to answer the phones? I like to talk to people. I like to, people have different questions. And what about this? What if that? It's like write down all those scenarios. Give them the tools. Give them the scripts. Give them everything that they need. And the big one is like, can I really replace myself? Like, can I hire a general manager to like run the company? I mean, of course you can. All these things can be done, right? And so my question is, are you living up to your potential? And I hate to say it, but most of us truly are not. And so it all starts with belief. You must first believe in yourself. You have to be sold on yourself that you can do anything, right? You can sell anything, you can hire anyone, accomplish whatever it is that you want. I want to read this quote real quick from Jeff Bezos, and I'm not it it was delivered to his it was like a annual financial review or whatever at the end of the year. He wrote this in his letter to the shareholders or whatever, and I don't know what year it was, so I won't say that. But listen to this will change your life, or it should, if you take action. All right. Outsized returns often come from betting against conventional wisdom, and conventional wisdom is usually right. Given a 10% chance of 100 times payoff, you should take that bet every time. But you're still going to be wrong 9 times out of 10. We all know that if you swing for the fences, you're going to strike out a lot, but you're also going to hit some home runs. The difference between baseball and business, however, is that baseball has a truncated outcome distribution. When you swing, no matter how well you connect with the ball, the most runs you can get is 4. In business, every once in a while, when you step up to the plate, you can score 1,000 runs. This long-tailed distribution of returns is why it's important to be bold. Big winners pay for so many experiments. Big winners pay for so many experiments. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that is so cool. It's true. Like, you've got to be willing to take a risk. You've got to be able to do that. And most of us aren't willing to because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to try something and fail. It just, that's a natural feeling to fail. It doesn't make us feel good. But if we want to succeed, sometimes we have to fail as much as nine times, 90%. So are you willing to take risks? Do you believe that you can succeed even if you have failed the last 9 times? I mean, that is hard. I'm not saying this is easy, because I know when I was doing sales, if I got like 4 no's in a row, that was really hard to go on the next appointment. It's like, man, I suck, you know, and then that's why you lose the next one, because you're in this bad mindset, right? And then something happens and it turns around, and then all of a sudden you get a sale, and then you get the next one, and you get on you get momentum, right? There's positive momentum and negative momentum, but you have to be willing to get up and try again after you've failed that 9th time, because that one time is that 10% chance of succeeding. So, what is your why? You know, identify that this year. I highly recommend. You know, a New Year's resolution, some people are like, oh, they don't do anything, but seriously, write it down. If that's what it takes, is for us to start a new year, to have you write down a resolution or whatever it is, then I'm all for it, right? So, what is your why? You know, for most of us, it is some version or level of freedom, right? So that's my why. It's like, I want to be financially free. I want to be free for time. I want to be able to spend time with my family. You know, I grew up with a single mother. She worked all the time, right? And that was tough. So it's like, man, I want to be different for my kids. I want to give them opportunities that I didn't have, and that comes by building a better business and replacing yourself. That's just how it is. So, what's up, Rick? Good to see you here, buddy. And there's a couple other people that chimed in with a Happy New Year. So Happy New Year to you guys. It doesn't show your name. If you do want to, if you certain platforms, whatever, you have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them your name. That way I can see who I'm chatting with. But if you want to stay anonymous, that's cool too. So what we're going to do is take a quick break, and then we'll be back with my next tip for scaling your business. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Thanks, guys, for being here. Be right back.
There's more to landscape lighting than just throwing a fixture under a tree. The best display is one that was not only designed well, but also stands the test of time. High-quality fixtures and bulbs are key to long-term success and customer happiness. At Emery Allen, our focus is on creating only the highest performance landscape bulbs in the industry, with long-lasting components that don't degrade or flicker with age. Each bulb's appearance is always consistent throughout your lighting project. We offer a wide range of base types, beam spreads, and color choices that will fit your needs. To learn more, give us a call at 843-480-4473 or email us at info@emeryallen.com.
Hey, this is Jeff Hester, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turfs Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turfs Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turfs Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's The Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. And yeah, that's right. I'm flying solo today. No guest. I am the guest, and you are the guest. If you are here live, I want some participation. So, what is something that you want to accomplish this year? And let's kind of put our goals out there, right? And if you have any questions, doesn't even have to do with New Year's or anything. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll see if we can answer them. So, what's up, Tom? Happy New Year. Tom Garber with Emery Allen, everybody. So, what I'm going to do is kind of work through a problem that you can apply this this philosophy really to anything that you're working on. But when you have a problem, the best way to fix it is to solve it. And to solve a problem, the easiest way that I can think of is to just reverse engineer it, right? And so the example I'll use has to do with money, but it could be really any problem. Maybe you have an employee problem. Maybe you have a high turnover issue. You could reverse engineer that problem, and you could be like, well, this person told me this, and they quit because of this, and this happened, and you can identify, wow, I think the problem is me, right? I think the problem is the culture. People don't understand their future here. They don't understand their why. They don't understand their purpose here. Maybe you have customers constantly having the maybe they're calling you got callbacks, right? And so maybe you find out, you reverse engineer it to be like, okay, well, here's the problem. It's always this same type of lamp, the same type of fixture, or maybe it's the connections. Maybe it's the way that the install was done, and maybe it's one of your team members that you need to work with. So um, you can reverse engineer any problem. What's up, Kelly? Good goal, man. He wants to hit 1 million in sales this year, which I know, Kelly, and I'm confident in you, man. I believe, I hope you believe, and I think you do, because I know you're a believer. That's awesome. Someone else, sorry, it doesn't show your name, but I want to work towards the AOLP cold certification. That's awesome. I'm going to be at AOLP. I'm not doing the cold this year, but I'm going to do the CLVLT. So the president, Andy Thomas, has assured me that I'm going to fail. It's really difficult. And so I haven't started studying yet, but I guess I'm doing a case study. Like how much time do you have to cram before you can pass the actual CLVLT? But that's awesome. I think it's cool. Both of those very good goals. And it's funny, Kelly, you mentioned that, because my example of reverse engineering has to do with getting to $1 million in sales. So I'm gonna just kind of break down some of these numbers for you guys, because it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it on ourselves. And the problem is, if we don't have a target, then we don't really know what we're aiming for, and it's easy to get distracted and get caught in the weeds. And that's why we get stuck working in our business, because it's just easier. It's just easier. There's no real goal. And it's like, hey, if I did better than last year, I feel good about that. We had some growth. I must have been doing the right thing. And then we never really establish this target. And we've got to do a better job at that, myself included. So just take, for example, the $1 million in sales. If you want to get $1 million in sales, if your average job is $5,000, then you've got to get 200 jobs. You've got to get 200 projects. Now, the nice thing about this is, if you can increase your price or increase your job size to 10,000, then you only need to get 100 jobs, right? So there's different strategies to getting to this, but essentially you're going to break down the numbers just like that. So let's just use 5,000 bucks as an average job. So you need 200 jobs. Now, in order to get 200 jobs, how many leads do you need to get in order to get 200 sales? That obviously depends on how good you are at pre-qualifying, how good you are at sales. Are you targeting the right people? As you might get leads from home advisor, and that you're like, man, I don't know why, I just suck at sales. But your sales presentation might be awesome. You're just getting in front of the wrong people, right? Or maybe you were meeting in front of the right people, but maybe your sales presentation does suck, right? So but how many leads do you need to get 200 sales? Let's just say 50% close rate. So you need 400 leads, right? And again, if you're good at sales, maybe you don't need as many leads. And if you're worse at sales, you might need 500 leads, right? But so this is what I want you guys to do with all the problems in your business. Literally take a minute and break down how you're going to solve that problem and reverse engineer it. What things do you need to change if you're having employee issues? What things do you need to change if you're having client issues? Most of these problems can be easily solved by reverse engineering and isolating where the problem is so that you can fix the broken link. And voila, it's amazing how much success and momentum you can get after you actually take the time to fix these problems. And it is a challenge because it's easier to not fix. It's easier just to kind of either like turn the other way or work on what we're good at, and not do this stuff. But I promise you, if you can spend the time to do this, you're gonna hit your goals. So let's say you're gonna need 400 leads to get 200 sales at $5,000 to get to your million, right? And maybe you're just starting out and you're like, hey, yeah, I want to get to 1 million. Or maybe you're already doing 500 grand a year and you want to get to 1.5 million. You want to add 1 million. The same thing works, right? So I'm not going to go through all the different opportunities that you could use, but I'll go through a couple. So direct mail, for example, let's say you're gonna target, which targeting is super important. Like I said, some people send out advertisements or meet with people and they don't close the deal, and then they question everything. Like, should I even do this? Am I good at sales? Should I use different products? Should I lower my price? And really these are really good questions, but people make bad decisions based on bad information. So again, if you're meeting in front of the wrong people, it's really hard to make correct decisions because you're evaluating your self-worth, your presentation, your products, all this stuff on something that shouldn't even be evaluated at that point. So you need to make sure that when you are selling landscape lighting, that you're in front of the right people, because when you are in front of the right people, the process becomes a lot easier. So from a direct mail standpoint, let's say you purchase a list and you say, well, I want people that live in $750,000 homes and up within this, 30-mile radius, 40-mile radius, whatever it is. And they've got to be a homeowner and they have to have a swimming pool or whatever your criteria is. And there's 10,000 people that you're going to send this list to. You're going to send that to them 6 times per year. So that's like 60,000 mailers. Let's say that's $30,000. That $30,000 has to come from somewhere. So hopefully you've listened to a previous episode and raised your price so that you've got that. And that $30,000 works out to 200 leads. Out of those 10,000 people, they got 6 mailers. So 60,000 mailers get 200 leads. So out of the 400 leads, we just got half of those leads, right? And then you figure your website, you're going to do some Google ads and you're going to spend $10 a click. And that's going to be about 200 visitors a month, which is about $2,000, which means you're going to get about 6 leads per month, which is 72 for the year. So now all of a sudden we've got 272 leads out of the 400. So you keep going, and there's Google My Business, there's yard signs, truck wraps, referrals, like all these things. Go through the list because you can get to that point where you can actually have a plan to get to 1 million. If you're like, well, I'm only going to, if your plan only shows that you only can get 270 leads, and that means you're not going to get to your $1 million, right? So you've got to reverse engineer this by the detail and figure out exactly where these leads are going to come from, how you're going to get them, how much you're going to close, and really track these metrics. And I mentioned referrals. You can't, referrals is not a strategy that you just plan on. Like, well, if you're in business, you're going to get referrals. Yes, that might be true, but you can get more referrals by having a strategy and asking for referrals. And the better you are at delivering that white glove, red carpet experience, the more referrals you're going to get, right? But even then, you have people that will love you and they think you're the latest thing and the best thing ever, but they're not going to refer you because you didn't ask, you didn't prompt them. So yes, you will have to reach out verbally. You can ask them while you're there. You can send texts, you can make phone calls, you can send out letters, you can do emails. The point is you have to ask. So the very successful people are not just sitting back relying on referrals and know that they'll come in. They're increasing that amount by simply asking, right? You can also give away maintenance. So I like to give incentives to people and say, listen, for every referral, I'm going to give you 6 months of your lighting maintenance for free, right? If it's a big enough referral, it's like, you tell them the 6 months, but then if it's a big referral, it's like, hey, I decided to give you a year, they're going to be thrilled and probably give you another referral right then, right? So I like to tell people, listen, if you want, like when someone asks for a deal when I'm closing the deal, hey, well, could you do free, could you do the maintenance for free? Yeah, absolutely. I'll do maintenance for free the rest of your life as long as you're giving me referrals. So keep giving me, a couple of referrals a year, and I'll be Johnny on the spot. Whatever you need, I got you. Another one is referral partners. So this just is just like everything else. It's a numbers game. Someone think about this. This should make you feel sick. Someone out there right now is meeting with your dream client today, right now. It's 5:30 Eastern. Somebody is getting sold landscape lighting. Someone's probably buying a $50,000 landscape lighting job right now. I mean, am I right? I don't know, but probably, you know. And so get out there. You've got to go out and be relentless. Let everybody know about you. High-end home builders, custom pool builders, landscaping companies, landscape architects, interior designers. These type of people who are already in front of your dream client. These are people that live in $2, $3, $5 million houses, and they don't usually go onto Google and put in landscape lighting install company near me. They literally just ask their network. They say, hey, home builder, we're friends now. Do you guys do landscape lighting? No. Do you know anyone who does? Yeah. And that's you, right? Hey, you're building our pool. Do you guys do lighting with your stuff? No. You know anyone who does? Yeah, that's you. So go in and start to make those relationships because it takes time. You can't just go be like, well, I'm going to go get a referral partner today and go stop in at the pool company and walk out of there with 10 clients that are going to give you $10,000. These things take time. It's all about relationships. So make that part of your strategy this year and figure, okay, I'm going to secure 5 new solid relationships of each of which are going to give me 5 jobs. And each of those jobs are going to be $10,000. So that's 25 jobs times $10,000. That's $250,000. I just made up a fourth of my goal of $1 million just by paying attention to this and having a plan and executing on it. And you can't just say, oh, I'm going to do this, but that means this week, starting today, not tomorrow, but today, you've got to call on somebody because those 5 relationships aren't just going to come automatic. And then finally, repeat business. Again, it's nice. It is kind of nice. Like I didn't realize about landscape lighting. It is kind of more of a residual business than I thought. You do someone's front yard and then 6 months later they call you back for the backyard. But you still will find yourself in a better position by asking because people, believe it or not, people forget about you. As much as they told you how awesome you were and how special you were, they forget because they have other stuff going on. They have lives. Okay. And if you're not constantly emailing them, I mean, I would say you need to be emailing people at least once a month, just with a reminder that you exist, right? And it could be tips on doing maintenance, or it could be telling them about your new service, outdoor audio that you're going to offer, whatever it is. Make sure you're staying in front of people on a monthly basis. That way, when they are ready, they know who you are and how to get a hold of you. And you can make them offers too. Don't feel like you can't sell to them, but don't sell to them every month. Each month, just try to stay in front of them, add value. And that way, when they're ready to move forward, they're going to move forward with you and not just with the landscaper who's there doing landscaping and says, hey, do you want any lighting? Sure, throw it in, right? So this is my point, that you can do whatever you truly want this year, okay? But you have to make a plan and you have to execute. Saying you want to grow a little bit or do better than last year, or, I'm going to do 10% better, that's not really anything to brag about. Like, we grew by 10%. It's like, well, so did everybody else. Like, look at the economy. Everybody grew. It was a crappy year for a lot of reasons and an amazing year for others, right? So just saying like, I want to get better, that's not really a plan. Write it down, figure out all your moves ahead of time. Why is this year going to be better than the last? Why should it be? Maybe it doesn't have to be. Does it have to be better? Write down what you want your life to look like in the next 12 months. And it's not a lot of time. I'm telling you, it goes by so fast. Is anyone else with me? Like, I feel like it's going faster, but I don't know how time could technically go faster, but it is. As the older I get. I don't know why that is. But write down exactly what you want and manifest it. I know you're going to think I'm crazy using that word, but manifest it. On the radio, they have Manifest Monday around here. And these people, they get to talk about whatever they want to manifest in their life, right? And now my daughter, and I'll tell my daughter, like, well, if, we're having these conversations. She's getting older and more mature. And I'll be like, well, if you really want that, she's talking about, I wish I could do this. I'm like, what do you mean you wish? Like, put it out there, manifest it. What is it that you want? And by getting clear on this and how you're going to get there and manifesting, it happens. Okay. And listening to Lighting for Profits is great, but it's not going to get you anywhere by just listening. You got to get off your ass and implement what you learn, right? So take massive action if you want massive results. That is the name of the game. There's really, I don't know, I don't believe in luck. It's definitely where opportunity meets preparation. So get out there and make this year, 2022, the best year you've ever had. And whatever your goal is, raise it. Like, aim high, because Grant Cardone teaches this thing. I don't want to steal it from him, but if you're aiming at a target, 1,000 feet out there, you're not going to aim right at the target, because if you do, you're going to hit low. Aim high so that you can hit your targets, right? So I hope that made sense to you guys. But make sure you guys do that. Manifest it, put it out there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. And we come back, we're going to talk about why being selfish might be the best thing you do this year. Selfish? Does that even make sense? Like, I don't even know if that makes sense to myself, but that's right. When we come back, we'll talk about why being selfish is going to be the best thing you can do this year.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Got Kelly throwing down the scripture. I feel like you have all that memorized. I remember some scriptures, but actually not that many. So well done. I want to talk about being selfish. Probably lose a lot of people right now, but I want to give me just a minute to explain why being selfish really might just be the best thing you do for yourself and others, because you're not doing it to be selfish for you. You're doing it for others. So I think you guys probably agree with me. I don't know. I don't want to assume, I guess, but the world, in my opinion, has taught us that being selfish is, let's see if I can turn off the music, that being selfish is wrong and that you're just a bad person if you do. What's up, Scott? Happy New Year. And the thing is, I don't know that I agree with that. I used to believe that if you're selfish, you're a bad person, because I believe now that the world is wrong. And if you don't believe me, just watch the news. So I do believe the world is wrong. And there's a book out there called Profit First. Mike Michalowicz is the author, and he goes into pretty good depth as to why the majority of businesses fail. And the reason they fell is because they lack profit. Hello, lighting for profits. That's what we're always talking about, right? And so most businesses, if you think about it, they go out of business not because they're like bored or because they're too rich. They can't afford to stay in business. They can't afford to pay employees. They can't afford to take care of their clients. They get all these negative reviews. They get turned upside down. They can't pay their bills and they're done, right? And so he explains that it's because business owners pay all their bills first and then survive off of what is left. You guys do that? I know I used to. I used to pay every single bill, and there was months when I was getting started in this business, months that I could not pay myself because there was literally no money left. It was like, what the hell's going on? I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm living the dream, but I'm broke. I'm literally not paying myself. But next month, I'll go out and sell more. I sold more. There was still no money. Literally months and months and months go by. It was like 4 months in a row, could not pay myself. Luckily, I still had a job, right? Otherwise, that would have been it. That would have been it for us. Like that was a negative situation. And I didn't have the knowledge of how to leverage debt or anything like that. But it's because people don't have enough money, right? And so when you operate like this, it leaves no room, no money for growth, no money for improvement. And yes, it's selfless. So by the world's standpoint, it checks the box for not being selfish. So, yay, congratulations, you're not selfish. But actually, it's wrong. It's totally wrong. And I experienced it. It was so, like, when I read the book, I was like, this totally makes sense because he's talking to me, right? And here's why. You can't continue to produce exceptional results and perform at your highest level if you're constantly putting yourself last. Okay. For one, you'll never have good profit and make any money. You'll never have enough money to pay your employees what they need. Never have enough to buy nicer product. You'll never have enough to buy better tools, better equipment, because you'll just make it work with what you have. And that's what most of us do, right? And it's honestly a terrible strategy, if you can call it a strategy as a business owner. And Profit First teaches you that you pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Can you imagine that? So you're supposed to like take care of your employees and all this other stuff, but you pay yourself very first. So you go out and get a job and your budget calls for you to pay you a certain percentage every single time. Pay you very first. Can you imagine that? Pay you first. And this way, by doing it this way, you'll figure out a way how to make everything else work. Just like you figured out a way to survive on less income yourself, you'll figure out a way to talk to your vendors that you purchase from and make payments on that. You'll figure out a way to get things done. You'll figure out a way to pay your employees. You'll go out and knock more doors. You'll increase your sales. You'll increase your price. You'll finally start listening, right? You'll do these things because you've already paid yourself, and you don't want to let these other people down. You want to stay in business, right? You want to take care of your employees. So you'll figure out a way. And listen, you took the risk to start a business, and you need to reward yourself. Like, you should be the highest paid person in your business. And most of the times, it's like, at least for those months that I wasn't paying myself, I was the lowest paid, right? So by rewarding yourself, it forces you to work harder and smarter to make sure you find more profit to be able to pay your employees and pay your bills. Now, my favorite example of being selfish is on an airplane. I've been traveling more these last 12 months than I ever have. I actually still don't really like traveling. I just like being in the new location, but I can't stand airports, airplanes, all that stuff. I can't stand it for many reasons. But when you board a plane and you're sitting there and they're doing the, now they got the videos and stuff, but that used to be like the person up there talking or whatever. One of the things that you get is instruction in case of emergency that you're supposed to put on the oxygen mask, right? And I remember hearing this for the first time. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember hearing it thinking, that's odd. They tell you to put the oxygen mask on first before, okay, help yourself before assisting others and children. It's like, wow, that sounds like a dick move. Like, serious? Like, why wouldn't we're supposed to help others first, I thought, right? Is that not selfish? These are the questions that are going through my mind. Why do we not make a big deal of this? Like, I can't believe they're teaching the opposite of what I was taught, right? Well, it's just like Profit First, okay? You can't help others if you are deprived of oxygen, passed out, dying in your seat. You can't do it. Sorry, not sorry. Like, you have to put yourself first if you want to be able to help others. And so this year, I'm encouraging you guys to put yourself first, okay? You can have self-love and not be prideful. That is possible. You can put yourself first and not be selfish. I was kind of teasing. Like, selfish is selfish, but putting yourself first doesn't mean being selfish, right? And when you put yourself first because of others, this is when you're going to find yourself succeeding, gaining traction, momentum like you've never experienced in your life, right? And this is a hard concept because most of us are, I don't know why. I think it's just being raised in the world. Like, we feel like, hey, we're supposed to put others first and everything else. But honestly, like, we've got to start putting ourselves first. If we, as the captain of the ship, are is not healthy and we lose way because of that, and we can't navigate the ship, then it's going to crash, right? And so we, as the leaders of our organizations, and if our organization is just us, we still have our family, we still have our spouse, we still have children, we still have friends, we have family, we have people relying on us, we have our clients. Like, even if it's just you and you don't even have helpers, if you go out of business, who's going to take care of your existing clients? So you've got to start putting yourself first if you want to be able to take care of others. So raising your price, as an example, to get more money is not selfish. I know a lot of people think it is, but it's selfless, right? I had a client one time. Well, it was actually the neighbor of the client. We were doing lighting, and he's like, "Hey, can you guys give me a quote?" So I go over there and I give him a quote real quick. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much money. I already quote. You guys are double the price, everything else." And he told me, "I'm going to be out of business within 2 years." And I was like, "Okay, I didn't know. Are you, who are you? Like, who are you to tell me I'm going to go out of business?" I love that he said that because that made me raise my price more and I stayed in business even longer. But don't let other people hold you down, right? And don't listen to those people, because what was interesting is the exact opposite was true. Those companies that were half my price 2 years later were no longer around. And I wanted to, like, make a video about it and, like, send it to him or go over and just have a conversation with him. Be like, "You remember when you told me that?" That's right. Yeah. It's not only been 2 years, it's been 5 years, and we've doubled our sales, and those guys are no longer in business. So tell me about economics again. So what are you guys going to do this year to put yourself first? There's so many different things you can work on, but, personal development, coaching, landscapelightingsecrets.com, eat better, fitness, get in better shape, lose weight, gain weight, whatever you want to do, seminars, conferences, take time off. This is a big one. Okay. Each month, each week, write it down. Whatever you want to do, start today, right now. I used to say, I'm going to stop procrastinating tomorrow, but seriously, start today, not tomorrow. Reward yourself. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. I really want to make sure that you understand. Obviously, I'm not really encouraging you to be selfish, but I really want you to put yourself first. That's the key message there. So what we're going to do is take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about demos, believe it or not, kind of a topic that came up over the break. And we'll talk about what is a demo, why it's important, and if you should be doing them. Yes, whether you're brand new or maybe even if you've been doing it 15 years, why you might want to consider doing a demo. We'll be right back.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review. The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turfs Up radio hosts, including Heculus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian.
My name is not Brian.
Ryan Lee, Wayne, the Prophet Bowles,
One opportunity.
his son Daniel, the Ford, the Green Veteran,
Giddy up,
and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
yeah! Oh, yeah.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for your services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you'll be connected with other pros in the industry who want to do business with you. And not to mention property owners who need help with everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join TurfsUpNation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. Just remember to sign up for this free service. Go to TurfsUpNation.com.
Are you tired of working dawn to dusk 7 days a week and still struggling? Working hard isn't your issue. What you need to focus on is the business side of your business. That's where Profits Unlimited comes in. With our 42 years of experience in the industry, we have faced the challenges you are going through. We can help you with bidding, contracts, marketing, selling, and much more. Check us out at profitsrus.com. That's profitsareus.com when you are ready to earn what you deserve. And don't forget, tune into Profit Time at 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Remember, profit is not a dirty word.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you, man. I also had a comment from Dan Plata. He liked the playoff music. What did you think about the play-in music? So let me see. What I want to do is, before I get started, actually, I want to say, what's up, Andrew? I met Dan Plata because I started going to trainings, conferences, seminars, because I was working on myself. And so Dan is one of those guys that you're like, okay, that was worth the price of the seminar. And like, just meeting the guy. So when you invest in yourself and you are selfish with your time and go do these things, you're going to meet people like Dan Plata. So that's awesome. And he has a show too, Wednesday at sometime. Just listen to Turfs Up Radio all day on Wednesdays and you'll hear him. But he's got a podcast. He's got a private Facebook group, all that stuff. Just go find him on Facebook. And what I want to do is before we finish is I want to talk about demos real quick because it was a topic that came up in the Landscape Lighting Mastermind Facebook group. I can't remember the exact question, but it was like, do you do demos and stuff like that and all that. So first of all, what is a demo? There's some people that are new on here. Basically, a demo is just setting up temporary lights. So it's these quick plug and play systems that you can just set up 10, 20 lights on someone's house to show them what it looks like before they even buy, right? And the question was like, do you charge for demos? Do you charge for proposals? That's what it is, right? And so I encourage everybody, if you're new into lighting, I encourage everybody to get a demo kit because it makes it so easy to sell and it makes it so easy to learn design. I actually teach inside my coaching program. I teach lighting design. I teach lighting installation, all this stuff, but it's kind of like riding a bike. Like I can teach you like how to ride a bike, but you still got to like ride the bike and like crash a couple times, right? So demo allows you to crash a couple times without actually crashing. It's like crashing with like a bubble around you and it doesn't hurt. Because if it's wrong, you just move the light, okay? And so I remember learning lighting, and I didn't have landscape lighting secrets to attend or anything like that. I literally just like set up the demo kit, and if it looked like it was too bright, I pulled it away from the house more. Or if it was too dim, I pointed it more to the house more. And they're like, oh my gosh, that looks good. What'd you do there? I'm like, oh, I'm a designer. I can't tell you my secrets. So like literally just go set it up, and it teaches you design so quickly. And because it's so impressive, like the key with the demo too, if you're going to do a demo, don't just like have them watch you set it up. And as it gradually gets darker, the lights, tend to get bright or whatever. No, like send them in the house, make them sit there and wait as a punishment for making you work at night. And then when it gets dark, have them, turn off all the lights, have them go stand at the curb, and then you turn those lights on. And it is an experience. I mean, it really is an experience. They're like, oh my gosh, and like shedding tears and stuff. They feel like they're at a resort. It's amazing. And it's really easy to ask for a check at that point because people buy on emotion. People buy on emotion, and they are emotional, right? Especially if you get them some wine. It's spectacular. But if they're too drunk, I did have a couple one time, an older couple, they were wasted before I got there, and it did not go well. She went in the house, screaming, crying, yelling at him, and I was there like, so can I get a check? I still did ask for the cell, and I did not get that one that day. I got it the next day because he's like, well, I don't know, and he was drunk. So, but anyway, so here's the thing: should you do a demo? I say, hey, listen, if you're new, I mean, if you have less than a year experience, you should do a demo every single job because it teaches you these things and it builds your confidence and it builds your business very, very quickly, right? Now, it's a hard thing a pill to swallow to be like, wait, I'm gonna have to do a demo every single job for the rest of my life. We just talked about me doing 200 jobs, so that's 200 nights I got to do a demo. No, not necessarily, right? But at least learning, you do want to do that and put your best foot forward. And listen, there's a lot of guys out there that are either too prideful or too lazy, and myself is included on both of those, to go do a demo tonight. But in your area, you could go do a demo and capitalize on the fact that someone else is lazier than you, and you can go do that, right? But obviously, as you grow your business, you don't have to do it every single night. What I ended up doing was just going and closing the deal on the spot. And then if they wouldn't move forward, I would try to overcome their objection. And then if they couldn't overcome their objection, I would try one more time, just try to overcome 2 objections. And most of the time I'd get the sell. But if I didn't, and it was a good sized job, I was like, listen, let me come set up a demo for you guys. This is exactly what you need. What we do is we come out, we set up these lights, and this is reserved for people that want to move forward with us. They're just not set on how many lights and stuff like that. And I would go set it up and I would close the deal, right? But you don't have to do a demo. I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people that have closed thousands of jobs without a demo, but it is a nice tool in your tool bag. And of course, you could charge, you could not charge. There's all sorts of different arguments as to, charging what you're worth and stuff like that. I love to charge what I'm worth, but I also like to give away a lot of free stuff. I don't charge for lighting for profits. It's completely free. I don't charge for a lot of the stuff I do, but what it does is it adds value so that when people are like struggling with something, they're like, well, maybe I'll go do that. And when they sign up for Landscape Lighting Secrets, it's really easy to close the deal because I've already built so much value, right? And so I could be like, well, no, I'm going to charge for my time. And like, if someone wants to listen to my podcast, I'm going to charge $10 or whatever. But like, that just seems like a weird strategy to me. And so the demo is the same way. Like, yeah, you could charge, but what is your time worth? Is it $2,000 an hour? So you're going to charge $2,000 for a demo? Like, who I don't know who's going to pay that. So I like to lead with value if you're going to do it and just do it for free and then charge on the back end, right? So make sure that your offer, whatever it is, that's why I'm big on raising your price because you do it. It is you're getting paid for more than just installing 20 lights in the ground. You're getting paid for your expertise, your experience, your time, all these things, right? And so I prefer almost treat it like a transaction. When you're buying a car, they'll let you test drive it, right? And they're not like, well, I mean, that's going to take, how much time is that going to take me? And that's going to be gas. And like, they're not like, well, my time is worth money. They're just like, dude, get in the car and drive it. You're going to think this thing's badass and want to buy it. And that's kind of my opinion on demos is like, once you show it to them, like it's really hard to say no. And they're going to want to buy it. So I would say that hopefully that answered like what a demo is, who should do them. There are some companies. There's one I know that they demo every single job and they do very, very well. And I'm talking like in the 7 figures. They do over a couple $1,000,000 a year in lighting. For me, it's just hard because it's hard for me to wrap my mind around doing a demo all the time or expecting my salesperson to do that. So with a lot of this stuff, even like lighting design itself, there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong answer. Except for, I will say this, getting started out, I feel like there is a right answer. Get a demo kit because it's so much easier to learn design and sales. If you're not very good at sales, a demo kit is going to make up and compensate for some of your weaknesses in the sales cycle because they're like, wow, that's pretty awesome. So that's kind of really all I want to say about that. And, it kind of relates to like, should you charge for proposals and stuff like that? Like, again, certain industries, they do charge for stuff. For me, I didn't never charge for a proposal because I'm in the opinion of like, I never went back and like drew up this fancy thing or did a 3D rendering. I was like, listen, you're getting 10 lights on your house, 5 lights up lighting of trees, 5 path lights staggered down this walkway, and 2 wash lights hitting these roses or whatever, right? And that price is $9,000. You want to do it? And it's like, yes or no. I would close the deal on the spot. If you could go back and do all that fancy stuff, and if I was doing all that, then I'd probably be like, yeah, you should charge. Like, that's a lot of work, where like I was there for an hour and I had my time calculated into the sales proposal. So I wasn't a fan for charging for that. I didn't feel like I was giving them enough value just for me giving them a price, right? But if I was going to go and do the 3D renderings and drawings and stuff like that, yeah, I'd consider charging for that for sure. The key here is just be different, right? So be different than what your competition is doing. If they are not offering demos, why not offer demos? That's going to be something that's going to differentiate you. And if they are offering demos, you can offer them, like we advertised on our trucks, for example, free demos. But when they'd call, we'd say, listen, we're happy to set up a demo for you. But what we'll do is we'll send out a lighting designer to meet with you first. Once they've given you a design and a price, then if you decide you want to move forward with the demo, we can go ahead and set that up. And that worked out really well, because then we go out there and meet with them, close the deal. A lot of times they'd forget that they even asked for a demo. And then if they brought it up, I would try to minimize it and be like, oh yeah, you guys really still need that. But remember those pictures I showed you? Your house is going to look spectacular. Why don't we just get you on the schedule and we can get it done in the next couple of weeks? Otherwise, it's going to delay the time to get your install done. And you got that party coming up. So try to talk them out of it at that point, because you already got the yes. But we'd still do it if they really wanted it. So all right, guys, we're pretty much out of time. So I want to thank you guys so much for your support. Thanks for showing up. And man, it goes by quick. Really appreciate you guys. Hope you got something out of today's episode, and keep moving forward. This is going to be an awesome year. And I think that, got some technical difficulties. I think that if you apply just even one thing that we talked about today, you're going to be better off than you were last year. So write down your goals. Write down not just your goals, but what you're going to accomplish by the end of the year. And then let's revisit it 12 months from now and see how well you did. So thanks, you guys. Appreciate you. And you guys keep moving forward.